A woman passed away alone in her cubicle, and no one noticed for 4 days. So a woman passed away alone in her cubicle, and no one noticed for 4 days. That is just to kind of show you where society is headed and what a lot of women will be experiencing. This is a phenomenon happening in Japan right now, for example. This happened in the States, but there's a phenomenon happening in Japan right now where a lot of people are passing away alone in their homes, and they're basically there for like days, weeks, or months, and no one notices. It's a terrible thing. And now this is beginning to happen in Western society where women are beginning to pass away and no one's even noticing that they're passing away. Today's video is actually going to come to us from the Jeremy Hill Show, Jeremy Hill Show channel. Their channel will be linked in the description, so you go check them out, support their content. Watch the end of the video to fully understand how this implication of women passing away without anyone noticing is going to expand and affect even more women going forward. And now let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now because this is not the show for you. Now, what I'm going to be talking to you about is something very crazy. About 4 or 5 days ago, there was a older modern woman who went to work, sat inside of her little cubicle, typing on her little keyboard in the office setting. Inside this office, she passed away at the keyboard. It took them 4 days to realize that that woman died there. People went home, went to lunch, came back to work for 4 days. She began to stink there, and they thought it was the sewage or something going on with that. They did not realize that they had a coworker sitting right beside them, lifeless. So I'm going to play the news report of that, and then I'm going to show you some black women who want to tell all other black women that it's okay to die alone. Yes, now they're teaching other women because they cannot get good men, they claim, to go ahead and live your life without a man and do not be afraid about buying a cat and dying alone. Their own words. Let me go ahead and put it up here for you. 1 second, up on the screen. Boom. Okay, now let's get it.
A Wells Fargo employee dies at her desk and no one bats an eye. Now her coworkers are raising questions about how the Tempe, Arizona office addressed the tragic death. Jade Cunningham has the story.
There's sadness at this Wells Fargo in Tempe.
It's really, really heartbreaking. And I'm thinking, what if I were just sitting there? Like, nobody would check on me.
After the body of an employee was found at work, an associate who asked to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation says the situation is troubling.
Her boss had emailed her. He didn't receive a response. So they went to go check where she normally sits. And that's how they found the body.
Tempe police say on August 20th, building security called authorities after finding a worker who was possibly dead. Officers went and identified the person as 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme.
To hear that she's just been sitting at the desk, like, that would make me feel, like, sick.
Now, this is the thing. Dying alone, not having you a husband, not having children or whatever either, because if your mama or your daddy is missing for 4 days, you're going to look for him, okay? If your brother, your sister, your husband or wife is missing for 4 days, you're going to look for it. This woman had absolutely nobody who cared about her. She had absolutely nobody who loved her enough to think about her, enough to check on her. She didn't have no one who cared enough about her to have the police come by her home to do a welfare or wellness check to see if she's okay. She was at work, decomposing at her desk. Dead. Nobody was thinking about her.
You know, guys, this is the reality that a lot of women going forward will be facing, because they have their friends who don't like men, who tell them to stay single, curse out men, tell them to leave their husbands. These women, they start to make a little bit of money. They think that they're better than their men, better than men, better than their husbands. They say that a man's purpose is to provide for a woman, give her her bag, and that's it. Because most women do not want us. They don't like us. These people absolutely hate us. They make it very clear that they don't like us. They resent that we even exist. And then watch what ends up happening. When you get older, you run into health issues, guys. If you don't have someone around that cares about you, you will not survive. Women traded in men for the state, and now they will have nothing. okay? Because the state became their daddy, the state became their husband, the state became their provider and their protector, and they began working for the state as agents of the state, reallocating wealth and resources from men to the state. But guess what? Nothing lasts forever, and now the roosters have come home to crow. So they don't have men to turn back to. They don't have men to look to. Okay? If they want money, they're going to have to use the state to steal that money, to extract that money from a man, or have the state give them money and provide for them. Women told other women, you don't need no man. All right? Men are problems. Men create problems in your life. Y'all, I just want my peace. You don't need a man, okay? Or if you have one, get rid of him, girl. You don't need this broke old Dusty. All of these young women don't understand the living hell that they are going to face when they do not have a man who actually loves them. You see, it's very easy for women to get caught up in evil. I am not saying that women are born evil, but it's very, very easy for women to be swayed and tempted by evil. This is something that even George Orwell talked about. And it's look at the Garden of Eden, and how easily Eve was swayed by the snake. Notice the name Eve and its alignment with evil. Okay? Women are easily swayed by evil. How can we go further on this? Look at Chad and Tyrone. Neither of these are good men. You need to understand that Chad is not simply a handsome man that women fall in love with. You guys are full of crap. You don't understand something about Chad. Chad is a low character individual most of the time. This is a brokey. This is a broke boy that often is not a very good person. I'm not saying all Chads are bad people, but a lot of them are not the best of people. A lot of them are vagabonds, okay? They might be pretty, but they don't really have any other value outside of that. They basically creep from place to place and a lot of them live off women and live off the state, okay? And then when they get really, really old, they're on the streets. They're homeless and they have nothing to show for themselves and no real skills. Guys, it's the story of my life. Most of us men, we don't have time to go live this type of life. A lot of us could be Chads. A lot of us could be Tyrones. A lot of us could be little Ponchos, all right? With his fat little belly and his tequila. But we don't have time for that. We have work to do. We have to build ourselves up. We don't have time for the streets. Something you have to understand about Chad, Tyrone, Ray, Pookie, Enrique, Miguel, Little Pancho, his brother Sancho, all of these dudes, okay, hung low. All of these dudes, they are for the streets, okay? These are toxic individuals. The vast majority of them is from the streets that they came, and is to the streets they shall return. So, of course, what is it within every woman? There is what? The streets. Women will tell you themselves, it's like the streets were calling out to me. So of course, what are they attracted to? They are attracted to the streets. They are attracted to people who also have the streets within them. It's a vicious cycle, but it is one that you have to comprehend. So no matter what you do, unless women are conditioned and raised to understand, you need to go and find a good man, and you to take care of that man and add value to that man's life. And it doesn't matter if you are paying half of the bills, you still have your role as a woman in the home, because that man is going to build a home with you. Without that man, you do not have a full home. A woman is not designed to live without a man. There are women who have to live without men, but then a lot of those women, they had, if they did what they were supposed to do, they built a family. They had children. So by the time their husband is gone, by the time their husband has passed away, they have children and grandchildren and a community around them. Sometimes they have an extended family to support them, even though that man is no longer there. And they built something together. They built a home together. They built a community together. That's why you can have a little old lady who's now in her 70s or 80s, and you have a room, and you can walk into a room, and it's filled with dozens of people, and all of those people are all of those people are descended directly from that little old lady, her children and her children's children. Think about that very carefully. And not even just that. Sometimes it's also the friends and the families of those people who got to know her, and she added value to their lives. So now she has an entire community of friends and family behind her that will be there for her and support her over the rest of her life, and she will enjoy the rest of her life. They will be there for her. Most women don't have that. They were raised to be selfish. They were told that they don't need men. They don't. Children are a problem. Here's the thing: women need children more than men need children. Men don't need children. As men, we've been conditioned by society that, listen, basically we have to figure out how to survive, or else we don't. We have to succeed, or else we don't survive. All right. When we had children in the past, it was because we needed to build up we needed children in the past, back like in the hunter gatherer era and so forth, because we had small populations. So women basically had their roles. They were supposed to, basically take care of the home, raise the children, and men would go out and hunt. And women had very clear defined roles. And if a woman did not have a man, she wasn't going to survive, because a man would go out, hunt, gather, bring the resources back, and if she didn't have a man, she basically was not going to survive. She would not have a home. She would not have food. She would not have a protector. Okay? And should basically be shunned by the community as well. It's really, really serious like that. But because of modern day society, the state took control. The state became tyrannical, and the control of our country shifted from men to the state. Women basically sold men out for public assistance and privileges. So now the authority over women shifted from men to the state, but women still cannot survive just based on just from the state alone. So of course they use the state. They are rewarded by the state by reallocating wealth and resources from men to the state through divorce court, civil court, criminal court, family court. The state doesn't really care, but it doesn't matter how they do it, just that they do it. But the state does not have enough money to subsidize women, and the state is only able to survive and thrive and continue to grow if men continue to generate income and wealth and resources. Think about this carefully, guys. If men walk away, if men stop buying things, so for example, men basically go and get these tiny home there's like these shipping containers. Actually, I was wrong about the price. A lot of these things are like $10,000 to $20,000. So a lot of people are getting shipping containers from China, or even in the U.S. and basically they're being shipped over, and a lot of them are foldable, and they're basically pre-made homes, and these things are costing somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 a pop. And a lot of them, and that's just for like and that's the small ones. And like, these are fully functional homes. And as more and more men are downsizing and getting these tiny homes and moving into things like these tiny homes, or sheds or whatever, and living very cheap, as men walk away, they do day trading, they cut back on wealth and they cut back on their gains. This is less tax revenue for the state. There was there was a very, very chilling comment that I got, a very, very chilling email that I got from one of my subscribers. And he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right when he talked about this notion where things were headed, and how the state was basically going to deem things amongst men and control us when it came to, for example, when it comes to like video, when the fall of Rome began to occur, men were punished for not getting married. The state, they called, the men were called worse than all of the criminal. Single men were called worse than all of the criminals in all of the Roman Empire. They were barred from public events, so going to the Colosseum, public shows, everything. They basically could not. So basically, no video games, no television, no movies, and during the winter time, they had to run in the streets. They were punished, and it didn't matter. They still kept on withdrawing from society. And look at this. Look at this email that I received. I talked about it in another video, but I'm going to go over it again. The gaming industry is beginning to collapse as men are boycotting gamers. Men are boycotting feminist games with feminist propaganda, and these companies are now losing hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. This is happening over the last couple of weeks. A game called Concord, $200 million, rife with feminist propaganda. I've got some idiot in the comments like, "Oh, it's because it wasn't developed well. That's why it flopped." This was a AAA game that cost $200 million to make, and I have an idiot in my comments saying that it's because it had the game just wasn't a lot of fun. That's the reason why they didn't buy it. It's not because of the feminist propaganda. Ugh, these guys are on such copium. I told you guys there's a lot of simps in the manosphere. And they won't leave. They're on here watching my videos. Why are they watching my videos? Why won't they leave Uncle Angry alone? Because they have nowhere else to go. The same people that have burnt down society, that have destroyed society, want to come and gather amongst us because they have nowhere else to go. They don't want to go into the hellhole that they've created, but then they'll come into my house and they want to tear my house down. That's how socialism works. So this guy said, hey, Angry, I disagree with what has been said about Concord. I think there will be huge backlash against gamers and men. Allow me to explain. This will be viewed as a massive wave of misogynistic behavior. It will also be labeled as financial terrorism because corporations have already petitioned governments to label boycotting as financial terrorism. All gamers will now be monitored. He's completely correct. Physical copies because they are monitoring us. Gamers are actually being arrested just for playing games right now. FBI is monitoring all gamers right now. Physical copies of games will no longer be available in the next couple of years. Everything will be streamed and monitored. And in order to play games, you will have to agree to have your gaming and communications monitored, or you cannot play the game online. Guys, in many cases, you will not be able to play the game, period. All right, even if you download it via Steam, you'll still have to agree that to have all of your gaming and communications monitored. Okay? He says, "Trust me, I have researched and monitored the things people refer to as conspiracy theories for 39 years. These evil people will pivot and create ways to ensure nothing is private. Privacy will soon be considered akin to terrorism. If you have nothing to hide, you don't need privacy." That's exactly what they're going to say. "Disagreement and dissent with wokeism and liberalism will not be tolerated. You will be labeled an enemy of the state as well as an enemy to humanity. I shudder to think about the penalties for these accusations. This is going to force them to advance their agenda. This will also advance the timeline for the central bank digital currency. Things are about to get really bumpy." He's absolutely right, y'all. He's absolutely right. One thing that I do like is BRICS, because a lot of the world is basically moving away from the United States dollar and moving towards BRICS. And some of y'all will say, well, BRICS is the same exact thing. Guys, this is the reason why you this is the reason why you have to basically break up your portfolio. You have to break up your portfolio. Don't keep all of your eggs in one basket. You have to diversify. You get some gold, you get some silver, you have some crypto, you have some Bitcoin, all right? You have some Ethereum, you have some XRP, you have some Stellar, you mix it up, okay? You mix it up. You have a nice list of crap coins, all right? They're shit coins, but we call them crap coins, all right? That could also take off. There's guys, you mix it all up. But I'm an expert on cryptocurrency. I have an entire academy where I have tons of courses, and right now we're working on the YouTube Academy course because we're going to teach you how to build an entire business on YouTube. All right, because here's what you're doing. YouTube is how you're using YouTube to build your business. YouTube is not the entirety of your business. And that's what a lot of you are going to have to learn how to do, how to build your business. Many of you think that there's no way of building a business. There's nothing that you can do. All right. You'd be surprised. There is something that every single one of you can do, but you don't even realize it. For example, there may be someone who is a master plumber. All right, you're a master plumber. You'd be amazed what you can take a small thing. It could be just talking about your experiences and sharing them online or teaching something. You'd be surprised the niche that you can develop, that you can create, because there's someone else out there looking to learn these things and that will pay you to learn these things from you. Okay? Guys, I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I'm a YouTube content specialist, okay? I've been like this channel that you're watching right now. This is a 3-figure channel that was built in that went to that number within roughly 1 year. Within 1 year, roughly 1 year, I was able to build this channel into a 3-figure business. 6-figure business, all right? Within 1 year, I was able to turn this into a 6-figure business. And that's this channel by itself, not counting any of the other channels. And that should tell you something. That should absolutely tell you something, because a lot of you don't want to hear it, all right? You have to learn how to create value for others, and you have to learn how to diversify. Guys, let me tell you something. I suffer so much. I'm always tired. I wake up and I go to work. I wake up and I have to make my videos. I have to work on the Agri Guy Clubhouse. I have to work on I have to work on the courses for you guys. I have another platform that we'll be announcing probably over the next month, hopefully. Like, that's something that's been in the works for a little bit now. It's been guys, it's so much work. This is a massive business that I'm running. Massive business that I'm running. I have 5 different channels that I'm currently taking care of at the same time. This is a massive business, and this is, and it's crazy, and I'm constantly expanding and moving into other areas and other fields. All right. For example, like some of you guys may have heard of the Lego business. I'm looking into that right now, getting into the Lego business. I know you're like, Lego business? Yeah, that's actually a giant business where people make a lot of money selling Legos right now. It's a whole other thing, but you actually Google it, and I might teach you guys about doing it once I've set up my shop over there and really begin to, take in profit if I decide to go down that road. But you have to continuously diversify and build out. And there's some things people are like, oh gosh, Angry, you're a fool, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. And then basically you see a video on NBC and you're like, where people are making $1 million doing this. You're like, oh, that makes sense. That's what Angry was talking about. Maybe I'll go check out Uncle Angry's course. Yeah, guys, I tell you, people suck. Human beings suck. This is the reason why you should only love Jesus and don't take people take people too seriously, or life too seriously at that. But guys, think about this carefully. Come 2030, 45% of all women are going to be childless and single. That's a lot of women that are going to be childless. That's a lot of women that are going to be single. There's not going to be anyone that's coming to their rescue, that's coming to check on them, coming to see how they're doing. That's a lot of childless and single women. That's really, really hard, guys. And women put themselves in this situation. They put themselves in this situation, and they're going to have to deal with that harsh reality that they've created for themselves. All right. This woman, she was alone in her cubicle, and she was there for 4 days, and no one came to check on her. And come 2030, in just the United States alone, 45% of all women will be childless and single. Okay, between the ages of 25 and 44. We're not even talking about the boomer women and the Gen X women, the older Gen X women. We're not even talking. Yeah, that's all millennials, 25 to 44. That's all millennials. In 2044 and 2030, they'll all be millennials, because the oldest millennials right now were born in 1981. 1981. So the oldest millennials will be 43 years old this year. So the people in 2023, 2030, that won't even be the oldest of the millennials. So those are Gen Zers and millennials. We're not even talking about Gen Xers. and how badly a lot of Gen X women and baby boomer women are going to be doing. And they think that they're going to use the state to save them, and it's not happening. And all of these women are telling them, girl, you don't need a man. All right. They're telling them that they're going to be okay. You have women who are now in their 60s and 70s. Some of, telling women that they live these wonderful lives and they're single and they could never be happier when they're crying themselves to sleep, and these are some wicked people, and they have terrible health issues, and they're telling young women to go down this road. Okay. And basically all they're doing is they're playing upon the emotions of these women. They're not because they're women, so they know how to manipulate other women. They're telling them to listen to their hearts. Listening to your heart means to listen to your emotions. Do not listen to your heart. All right. Listen. All right. Look at the facts. Look at the facts. That's, guys, when nothing else makes sense, look at the facts. The facts will guide you. Okay. Use your reasoning. Use critical thinking. Even when you following your emotions, that's what leads you down a path of danger, poverty, and destitution. All right. Which is exactly what women are facing right now. Women's intuition, when studied, is total BS. Women do not have any superior power of being able to discern things compared to men. More so, women are just more likely to believe their feelings and express negative emotions and concern based around their feelings than men, who are more likely to be more rational, direct, and follow the facts. A man's feelings are directly affected by facts, while a woman's facts are directly affected by feelings. So in other words, when the facts don't make sense, that's when a man will fall into his feelings. For a woman, when her feelings don't make sense, that's when her feelings will affect her facts, and she'll have a hard time coming to a conclusion based on facts over feelings, because women operate based around feelings. That's why emotions are a currency for a woman, and wherever the wind blows, her emotions will go. Women and men are wired differently. Our brains work differently, so we process information differently. Women process information using feelings. Men process information using facts. This is not to say that women cannot use facts. This is not to say that men cannot end up all in their feelings. We have a lot of simps that are exactly like that, with that feminine energy. But don't forget that simps are also agents of the states, and those who choose to remain simps, they have an entire agenda for themselves. Regardless of that, however, women, their brains are wired to process by default using feelings, because women were designed to rear children. Hence, they need to be continuously in tune with the emotions of a child to understand what they need and so forth. So they're great. They're great nurturers. All right. But on the other side, a woman needs a man to help her regulate her emotions and guide her, because women are not able to control their emotions. Even when women act like they can control their emotions, most women absolutely cannot control their emotions. It's the honest to goodness truth. They will always be guided, and they will always be misled by their feelings. And it's only after they've basically destroyed their lives as a result of listening to their feelings over the facts. Then they'll sit down and they'll sit down or stand in their scorched earth and look at the facts finally and say, I listened to my feelings betrayed me, and now I'm screwed. And now I'm facing destitution, poverty, or even mortality. This is what happens to a lot of women. And and these women who chose to go down this path, these women who hate men and have done this to themselves, they are telling other women to do this. They're even among women who have lots of wealth. For example, there are women who basically decided they didn't need their husbands. They were better than their husbands. They prioritized their careers, and now they have some money. Now they're in their 50s or in their 60s. They have some money in the bank, and they're single, and now they can no longer find a good man. Okay, and a lot of these women, even in their 40s and 50s, they were out in the streets. They were running around with Chad and Tyrone, younger men, and they thought, hooking up with dudes online, and they thought that they were high value women because they could find a man at any given moment that would be engage in acts of physical intimacy, but they didn't comprehend that it's extremely easy for a woman to find a man to be physically intimate with. It's extremely hard to find a good man that will be a good provider and protector. It's easier when they are younger, but when they get older, it becomes considerably more difficult. And of course, these women then throw a hissy fit saying that it's because of society and the way that men are conditioned why men even want younger women. And men should be trained, conditioned to understand that older women offer greater value. This is, guys, it's crazy. Basically, women not wanting to face consequences for anything. Most women are prone towards socialist thinking. They are prone towards socialist thinking, and they are prone to they are prone they are drawn to, and I'm not saying women are evil, but they are drawn to evil, unfortunately. It is something, it is just something, it's something that for them it's exciting, it's new, it's exhilarating, and it's hard for them, to avoid it unless they are conditioned and taught not to do evil, not to be attracted to evil, not to be attracted to toxic men, not to be attracted to the streets. Okay, because the streets are exciting. They want excitement. They want excitement. They want to have fun. Even in their 70s and 80s, they just want to have fun. It's only after their lives have been completely ruined and wrecked that they realize that they don't want to suffer anymore. They want to be able. They want a place to go home to. They want a man to provide and protect for them. They want a good person. They don't want to live this life anymore. It's sometimes only through immense amounts of suffering that they come to that conclusion. Here's the problem, though. Even when they decided they want those things, they'll turn around and say, "I love you." But they don't actually love you. They love the things that you can do for them. They may love the things that you have. They may love certain things about you, but they will never love you. If a woman loves you loves you just because of the things you can do for her and things that you have, that's not love. All right? That's not love. That's not even okay? That's basically being with you out of necessity. They don't actually like you or even love you. And as soon as they no longer need you, they will just turn around and get rid of you. This is how they are. Women do not have loyalty, all right? Men are loyal. Men are conditioned, and it is part of our psychology to be loyal to those who are loyal to us and those who treat us well. Now, of course, not all men are like that, but it is something about us. It's kind of like with dogs. That's why men and dogs are wired for one another. It's crazy. Men and dogs are wired to survive better with one another and love one another than men and women. A dog actually loves you. Guys, this is not a joke. Your dog loves you. Your dog loves you. Your dog sympathizes for you. If your dog sees that you're not happy, your dog will come and lay its head next to you. Your dog actually loves you. It genuinely loves you. That's how a lot of dogs are. Their brains are wired to love you. They're designed to collaborate with you. They're designed to go to you for help. Okay? When a puppy is born, their brains are automatically wired to be with human beings. Domesticated animals, they are wired to engage. They are wired to be with humans. They're not wired to live in the wilderness. They're not wired to be. When you have animals that end up like that, those are feral. They become feral. All right, but the typical dog is wired to be is domesticated. They are wired to be with a human being. They immediately recognize you as the master. It's as their leader. That's how dogs are when it comes to human beings. All of these women who've done this, who've made these decisions, they're going to find themselves living in poverty, destitution, shelters. Living in the streets, living in the woods when the floor falls out. And the crazy thing is that right now we really have something more like a 33% unemployment rate, but they're hiding it. They are 100% hiding it, and it's only going to get worse for women. They can hide it for as long as they want to, maybe. And the longer they hide it, the worse it's only going to get, because they're going to say, "Oh, everything's going wonderful. Everything is hell. No one can find work. All the jobs are being lost," and they're basically covering it up, completely covering it up. The smart men build an exit strategy. That's what smart men do. If you are guys, Build an exit strategy and get dual citizenship. Have citizenship in another country. Figure out a country where you can live, go, survive, and thrive, and get citizenship there as well. All right? Get dual citizenship. This way you can always go somewhere else. Okay? Do not put all your eggs in one basket. All right? This is and diversify, diversify, diversify. Have money in another country. Have wealth in another country. I'm so serious. Don't keep all of your eggs in one basket because you may need to leave. You may, guys, hell on earth happens. Imagine, guys, like when things happened over in the US and Western countries back in 2020. Imagine if you had the ability to go to Thailand or to Vietnam or to other countries where it wasn't as bad. It wasn't at hell on earth. It wasn't as like Vietnam was great. Things were pretty damn good in Vietnam when everything was happening in 2020. Guys, you cannot keep all your eggs in one basket. The boomers are screwed. Just to be very clear, the boomers are screwed. A lot of the boomers are coming at me like trying to say, "Oh, it's not us," and punk will deal with you. We have power. Exactly, you have all the power. All right, and you threatening me is a perfect example of your tyranny. Guys, these people are tyrants. They're tyrants, and modern women basically sold men out to the state, and now they're going to say basically they got their reward, and now they're going to face consequences for the decisions that they've made. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, guys, come and join us. Come and join us over on the join us on the Angry Guy Clubhouse. It's so lit. It's over on Substacks. There's a link to a description of the video. You should also see a link on the screen popping up in a little bit, and it'll allow you to go over to the Clubhouse, and we can dive into. We have podcasts over there. We have Gen X stories. We have wealth building tips. Oh, I put out daily articles over there. It's so awesome. It is so awesome. It's really enjoyable. So you can head over there. And also, you can get our free digital nomad blueprint over there. So if you want to learn how to basically go off the grid, or learn how to make money on the go without being shackled down, it's an incredible value. And you can find a link to a description of the video, so you can go join. Find it. It's right in the Angry Guy Clubhouse. It's a much less toxic community over there. We have chat over there, so you can talk to me. Engage, ask questions, talk to one another, and you don't have to worry about the constant fear of being shadow banned or any of that nonsense. It's basically our community. I have control over it. It's so nice. I can reach out to you guys via email. You guys can reach out to me via email, and I can, it's my audience. I can reach my audience whenever I want to reach my audience. That is one of the great things. It's literally just that. It's a Clubhouse. I also put things like extended videos over there. So some of the videos over there are extended videos from YouTube. So you might have seen it on YouTube already, but you didn't see the entire video. So you can watch the entire video over there. And like I said, there are podcasts you can listen to. I'm adding new podcasts regularly, and there are daily articles, working on some polls for you. So like if you like how we used to do polls, if you enjoy the polls we used to do on YouTube, I used to do a lot of them here. I'm still doing a few. You can go over there. It's just a much more interactive community. So there's a link to it in the description. Go and check it out, and enjoy. Guys, what do you think regarding all of this, regarding everything? This woman passed away alone in her cubicle, and no one noticed for 4 days. And more women, this is going to be a regular occurrence for a lot of women who are going to basically pass away alone, and no one is going to notice. And of course, the empowered women are telling these women that this is good, this is great. You don't need a man, and you shouldn't have to worry. That's not going to be you. You have your friends, you have the state. The state is going to take care of you. You're going to take care of you. Your friends are going to take care of you. And they'll look for every reason. Them and the Simps will look for every single reason to completely blow this off. And then other women are going to be like, yes, girl, yes. They're like crying. They're like crying their eyes. Oh, yes, girl, yes. I'm going to be okay. Yes, girl, yes. And it's like, bro, you're not going to be okay. All right. Hard times are coming, man. Hard times are coming. A lot of women, guys, a large portion of women are going to experience homelessness for the first time in the coming years. A large portion of women are going to experience homelessness. More women are going to experience homelessness in the coming years than ever in history, in modern history. Ever in modern history. I shouldn't say history, but in modern history, more women are going to experience homelessness in the coming years as the floor falls out than at any other point in modern history, or maybe even the history of the United States. I'd say in the history of the United States, because they're not going to have anywhere to go. There's not going to be any housing. They're not going to be able to afford it. They're good guys. I talked about 10 cities many years ago, and I told you guys that the 10 cities were coming. I said 10 cities were on the way, and it's not something to play with. It's not something to joke about. It's not something to laugh about. I said 10 cities were on the way, and Tyrone is going to be the king of 10 city. And people that are like, oh, ha, ha, this is funny. Angry's so funny. You're so funny. You're so funny. And now you're like, oh my gosh, it's really happening. There really are 10 cities. Oh my goodness. Who is that? Oh, that's Tyrone. That's Tyrone. Yeah, he's running he definitely is king of this place. You know, he is king. Jesus is king of the world, but Tyrone is king of 10 city, and he does not play. Oh no, I just saw what he did over there. She really should have been more respectful. You know, he spoke to her and she didn't want to listen, and now that's how things ended. Yeah, stay out of 10 city, man. Stay out of 10 city. Like, guys, this is it, and no one's coming to rescue them. Women are gonna basically think that someone's coming to rescue them. You're gonna have these social workers in there, and they're gonna think that them in there. They're gonna be in there with their kids. Some of them have kids, and they're gonna be in there. They're gonna think that, oh, I'm gonna get out. They're not getting out of 10 city. Once you go into 10 city, you don't come out of 10 city. Do you think the government is gonna allow these people back on the street to go and clog up the street? Once they go into 10 city, they're not coming out of 10 city. There will be men. There will be men with firearms, basically at the exits. All right, exits / entrances, and you once you go in, you're not coming out like that. You are not coming out. There are only a couple ways out. All right, one is in a bag, and one is in a bag, and another is in handcuffs. Other than those ways, you're not. Other than that, you are not coming out. Okay, maybe, just maybe, if you have a medical emergency, that's about, like, you have like something happens, but aside from, you're not coming out. You're not coming out. And if you have a medical emergency, a lot of time they're gonna say that, well, listen, you can walk it off, or you're faking it. And like I said, basically either you're coming out in a bag or in handcuffs, or you're not coming out. You're not coming out. All right? Like, rest in peace to you. You're not coming out. Not coming out. What do you think regarding all of this, guys? A woman passed away alone in her cubicle, and no one even noticed for 4 days. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.